Alrighty, good morning. It's Andy Lockwood here with College Coffee Talk. Yet another morning example of me trying to go through a whole you-know-what load of questions that we continue to get practically every day when we do webinars and live events and all that other type of stuff. Any type of college planning question, whether it's about financial aid or scholarships or getting into college or the essays, you name it, it's all on tap, or I should say being brewed up here, College Coffee Talk. That's a little cold. Okay, so I'm Andy Lockwood from Lockwood College Consulting, and today's question, today's a little bit of a misnomer. So the question I am addressing today originally came in August of 2016 from Melissa, and we didn't quite answer it yet, but I get this question frequently, and I actually talked about this just the other day at a live presentation I did out in Green Lawn, Long Island, and we may be talking about this in a little more depth tonight on our Find Your Financial Aid Scholarships and College Admissions Pot o' Gold webinar, and the link for that is right here in this post. So, the question, if my child's grandfather, which could be her father, Melissa, this is from Melissa, if my child's grandfather has a trust for his grandchildren, including my son, do I need to report this if his grandfather is still alive and my son has no access to the trust until his grandfather passes? So I am going to broaden that question. I'm going to expand the scope a little bit and answer the related questions as well, because we get these questions a lot in one way, shape, or form. So here's the answer. Trusts have to be reported on the FAFSA, which is the main financial aid form used by every college in the country, Free Application for Federal Student Aid, FAFSA, not FAFSA. Some people call it that. I don't know why. Maybe it's a speech impediment. I don't know. So the Free Application for Federal Student Aid asks a question about trusts and whether you're the beneficiary of a trust. In addition, there's another form called the CSS Profile, which is in use from 260, 270 or more colleges in the country, in addition to the FAFSA, that asks more in-depth questions about trust. Now, that being said, if you are currently the beneficiary, but in this situation, in Melissa's question, I think what she's really talking about is a contingent beneficiary, meaning that, or I don't know, I can't remember all the stuff from law school, all the trust stuff, but if the child does not have any ability to use those funds until the grandfather passes away, then I would be making an argument to the college in terms of an appeal after you get a financial aid award that says, look, he is the beneficiary of the trust, but we can't access any of these funds until sometime in the future. Therefore, they're not resources that we can use to pay for college. And that will come out a little bit on the forms, but it's going to probably need to be highlighted a bit more in an appeal situation. Now, the colleges should not count that against you unless you do have the current right to be able to use those funds for your college education, whether it's a resource to pay for college. So many types of trusts do not have that type of contingency, meaning that the grandfather could be the trustee and can currently use the funds on behalf of the beneficiary. So that's what a trust does. It separates the investment, I guess, duties or the investment rights from the beneficial ownership. So if you don't have a trust and you own something, you have the power to invest or dispose of the money, and you also receive the benefit of that. What a trust does is it separates those two things. So in many cases, that is going to be an asset that counts against you because it doesn't separate those two things.